Welcome to the Hello Lovely podcast. I'm your host, Christy Williams, and I teach women how to be themselves. As an exclusive life coach for women, I'll teach you how to manage anxiety, make decisions you're confident in, and stop beating yourself up. So let's get started. Today, I'm excited about our topic because it's emotional triggers. And I think it's a pretty popular phrase these days. I was looking for a definition for what it was and found one on psychologytoday.com that I thought was pretty good. So I'm going to share that one with you today. What is an emotional trigger? It's any topic that makes us feel uncomfortable. And these emotional triggers are telling us which aspects in our life we might feel frustrated or unsatisfied, ... unquote. So I'll go ahead and link that definition in the show notes because it was an interesting article. But ultimately, emotional triggers are kind of like surprise emotions. That's really how I like to refer to them. We have an emotional response that surprises us. What can happen is when we have an emotional trigger, which I'll just call triggers from this point on, we might feel like now the day is blown, or that something we're doing now has to be stopped, or now this means something about us, or now we can't do what we wanted to accomplish, or somebody needs to be confronted, or something needs to be changed. So it really feels terrible. Like when you have a trigger and you are surprised by your emotions, you can almost feel nauseous. Like you may just be so upset by whatever was triggering for you that you feel like you can't function. And the reason I want to do this episode is because there is a beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful thing that comes from processing a trigger. And that is you can use that little gem when you find it, what caused it, for your own growth. Being able to process a trigger and use it for your growth gives you huge steps forward in goals that you want to accomplish and habits you want to change about yourself. So what I'm going to do is something really special. I have a bonus online membership for the clients that I work with one-on-one. They can go on demand really and have access to a video library of tools to help them. One of the modules is called How to Use Triggers to Fuel You. And it includes a bonus worksheet, how to use triggers for growth. I'm going to give them both to you today. So I'm going to, after this initial introduction, I'm going to put on the audio from that module. It's about 10 minutes. So you can listen to it, listen to how to process it, listen to more about what a trigger is. And then you can download the free worksheet, which I'm going to link in the show notes below. The worksheet is actually one of my client favorites. I have clients tell me that trigger worksheet was huge for them. So you got to check that out. Just download your free copy below. You can go to misschristywilliams.com/emotional-triggers and get your worksheet. It's pretty cool. Okay, so without further ado, here's the sample module from my online membership, How to Use Triggers to Fuel You.
We're going to be talking about how to use triggers to fuel you, how to use triggers for your growth. So as you learned in the last module, if you haven't watched that one, it will fully describe what a trigger is, but basically it's just being surprised by an emotion, which exposes some thoughts that we are not aware of. We have a reaction to something and we think it's a problem. So the first thing I want to discuss in this video is triggers are not a problem. Even if you're triggered by something, it just shows you're thinking something that is creating emotions for you. So what's super interesting is if we initially see a trigger we're having, so again, I'm going to use the social media example. On social media, are triggered by that. We start feeling comparison and putting ourselves down, jealousy, whatever it is. We turn it off, we close it, we block it. What that does is it reproves to your brain that it is a problem. So if it feels really strong that triggers need to be avoided, like this upset me, so I can't even look at it, it's because that thought has created actions such as blocking, avoiding, complaining, blaming, judging yourself, judging them, which produced a result that proves it's a problem, right? But where? In our brain. So this is where you can use triggers as gold. And it's super fun. And this is some that I love sharing. And I hope you can feel very playful about this and very curious about this and very open to this. Taking time to do this practice will be huge for you. Your personal life experience, your personal growth, how you show up in relationships, and how you can have confidence pretty much wherever you are, whatever's going on, okay? A big part of that has to do with allowing emotions, which we talked about in the last video. But in this module, we're going to be really talking about how to take the trigger and how to use it for your own personal growth. So when you're triggered, right now, again, we are like, uh-oh, this is a problem, block. So the first thing I want you to do is notice that. I want you to just be aware of when you feel triggered. I just want you to be aware that you're uncomfortable. That's just the first step. Isn't that easy? It's kind of something you've already been doing. So that part shouldn't be hard to put in practice. The difference is from that point on, you want to shut it down. You want to shut it down because you can't handle it is a thought that you might be having, which is okay. What I want you to do is if you have awareness, once you notice that you're being triggered, I want you to look at your thoughts. I want you to take a moment to have compassion and notice the emotion you're feeling. Okay, so one, oop, I'm triggered. I'm getting very upset about this. What emotion am I feeling? Like, it's okay that I'm feeling this. Let's see what it is. I'm feeling judgment of myself, which you could call unworthy. Or I'm feeling discouraged. Or I'm feeling mad. Maybe it's mad. Right? It doesn't matter. Whatever the emotion is, like none of those are a problem. I just want you to label it. So let's say mad. I'm mad. So instead of just reacting from mad, which sometimes people think is actually feeling our feelings, the reaction, it's not. That's what's super fun, is our allowing emotions is separate from our actions. Emotions drive actions, but feeling emotions does not have to be reactive actions, okay? So what this looks like is once you're able to label, I'm mad, you can be like, okay, I am mad. I'm going to take a deep breath. Why am I mad? You're going to be able to discover right there when you ask yourself why I'm mad, the thoughts that are making you feel what you're feeling. Why are you mad? I can't believe they posted that. Why? Because they're bragging. Why? I don't have it. Whatever it is. From that point on, this is again another interview with yourself. I want you to be super duper duper curious here. The biggest part of this practice is those first two things, being aware that you're triggered, naming the emotion. When you're naming the emotion, you can even notice exactly where it is. I feel mad. Mad is not just something happening without you knowing. Do you guys hear this motorcycle driving by? Emotions are a feeling in your body. So when you say I'm mad and you take the breath, where do you feel it? Where do you feel mad? I feel heat in my face. I want you to describe this to yourself. I feel heat in my face. I feel pressure in my chest. I feel like a lunging forward, like, feel a tightness in my abdomen. I don't feel my legs at all. And I feel like a little bit of a spinny in my head, like almost like my thoughts were literally flying around. So just notice that. That's all mad is. Mad is just those physical characteristics. The reason you're feeling it is because you're thinking something. So you can just be totally curious here. Once you find what you're thinking and what you're feeling, that is the gem. That is what you can decide to look at and work on through interview with yourself. So this takes a lot of compassion, and this takes a lot of intentional decision in your interview. So like with any interview with yourself, when you take being mad and what you're thinking about it, it's not painful if you decide in advance you're not going to judge yourself for what you find in there. Because this practice is creating a next level version of you, a woman who is not reacting to triggers. Even if you're doing that now, like, it's okay. But when you're doing this interview with yourself, the only time that gets painful and feels super super duper impossible is because you're having an emotion, you're judging yourself for that, and you don't trust yourself to be non-judgy about it. You're like, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to totally judge myself, and I can't handle that. Okay. So interviewing yourself about why you feel that emotion and what you're thinking about what you saw, and knowing you've made a promise to yourself, in this interview with myself, I promise not to judge what I find. I am using it as a treasure hunt to find the exact thoughts I'm thinking so I can understand what I want to do intentionally next. Allowing my feelings, my thoughts matter, their thoughts matter, my feelings matter, their feelings matter. I matter, they matter. Okay? So I want you to use that worksheet with the interview of yourself on the triggers. What's triggering me? Why am I feeling this way? And are you open to not judging yourself for that? Because remember, you can always evaluate and adjust. It doesn't mean that you agree even with all the actions that you took or all the thoughts that you're taking, but that's the whole purpose, is just like the 3 keys to confidence, you're getting super crystal clear here on how you feel and why. That will help you be super crystal clear on intentionally how you want to respond. Not because mad is a problem and not because you shouldn't ever feel mad, but what actions and results are you creating for you that you'd like to adjust? So judging yourself never creates long-lasting change. Never. Not positive, long-lasting change. Compassion and curiosity, that's what creates the opportunity to make change. So just be willing and open to go into that interview with yourself, to be super curious. Like, you don't even have to be afraid. Like, if you immediately feel fear about it, that's okay. You don't have to pretend you're not scared. But you may even get to a place eventually where you're not scared because you know you're not going to judge yourself for it. You're just looking. Anything you want to change, you can evaluate and adjust, evaluate and adjust, evaluate and adjust, but most importantly, understanding, so you can have a crystal clear decision on what to do next.
So good. I bet you're ready to grab that worksheet now, right? It was so great having you guys here. I'd love to hear your work and what you find in your worksheet. That is the gem for your growth in the future. You can tag me on Instagram at Miss Christy Williams. I can't wait to hear all about it. Have a great week, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Hey, lovely, if you want to be more confident on the outside, you have to start on the inside. If you don't take time to create an amazing relationship with yourself, it will show up in every other area of your life. If you feel stuck or don't know how to be yourself, I invite you to work with me one-on-one. Go to MissChristyWilliams.com and sign up for a free call to join my 6-month program. That's MissChristyWilliams.com, and I'll see you in session.